In my last video, I walked you through a step-by-step tutorial on how to use the basics of Excel, and I created this professional Excel table you see in front of you here. Now in this video, we will continue by taking this Excel table and display the data in an Excel chart. I will show you how to quickly and easily create professional Excel charts that can add meaning to your data and also wow your audience at the same time. So, let's get ready to Excel. Now, this is where we left off in the last video, and you might have heard that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, I fully agree with this statement. I mean, looking at this data is nice and all, but still, they're just raw and dull numbers to look at, right?
Yes.
So to make them stand out so we can make better sense of all this data, let's translate this into an Excel chart. There are different ways to do this, and the way I like to do it is by doing this. I simply highlight the data that I want to show on my Excel chart. In this case, I want to highlight my columns and rows with the data here. Now, I don't want to include totals for this demo, so I won't highlight my totals. Then, to add my Excel chart, I can click on my keyboard shortcut of Alt and Function 1 key, or the F1 key. So now you see an Excel chart that shows all the data I highlighted from the Excel table. But let me undo this and show you another way of adding an Excel chart. I simply go to my Insert menu, which then changes my ribbon options. Now in my ribbon, I see this chart section. From here, I can choose from a variety of Excel chart types. For example, there are bar charts, line charts, and pie charts, as well as other chart types. For my data and for this example, I want to use the bar chart type. So I click on the bar chart type icon, and I'm given all these options, and hovering over each chart type with my mouse will display a preview of my Excel chart. You can see how different the Excel chart will look, and then it's up to you to decide which specific Excel chart type you like. For me, I will go with the very first option, and boom, we just created our very first bar chart. Notice that since we have a chart created now, that the Excel menu changed right here. We now have more menu options, chart design and format. And by default, chart design is selected. From here, we can change our chart layout, our style, and our chart type, among other things. For example, if I click on the quick layout icon up here on the left, and then hover my mouse over the different layouts, you will see my Excel chart is changing based on my selections. See if any of these options suits your needs and wants, then you can just click on it. You can also hover over the different styles over here to see which style you like best. The choice is really up to you. For now, I like how the default Excel chart looks, just as it is. I can also move this Excel chart anywhere in my sheet by clicking and dragging on it. Just make sure you click in an empty white area of the Excel chart. You can also resize it by using any of these size controllers by clicking and dragging on them. Again, it's up to you how big or small you want the chart to look, and it's also up to you where to place it in your Excel sheet. So, I'll just move and resize the Excel chart so we can have a better look at the details. Okay, this looks better now. So what else does this Excel chart show us? Well, at the very top, we have a chart title, and right now, that's a generic title, so we'll update that in a moment. Actually, anything really is configurable and can be updated in this Excel chart, and I'll show you how in just a minute. Now, this Excel chart has two axes, the x-axis and the y-axis. On the left side, we have our salaries dollar value, and at the bottom, we have the names of the months. And below that, we have our legend. which contains the employee names. Then in the middle, which is the heart of the Excel chart, we have the graphical representation of our data. And we see this using different colored bars that belong to each employee, with a color that matches in the legend as well. For example, I see this yellow bar, and I don't know who it belongs to, but if I match it with my legend down here, then I know that this yellow color belongs to the employee name Dell. So now that we know the different parts of the Excel chart, we can start to customize a lot of things. Let's start by adding titles to both my x-axis and my y-axis. I mean, right now on the left, which is my y-axis, I see numbers. But for an outsider looking at this Excel chart without any prior knowledge of it, these numbers might not explain the full picture. So let's add a title to it, like this. In the chart layout section, I click on Add Chart Element in the top left corner of my ribbon, and as you can see here, I can add so many things. But for now, I choose to add axis titles, and then let's choose primary vertical, and now I see it show up here. Then I type salaries, and I hit enter. This makes it more descriptive, and again, it's up to you if you want to add it or not. I can then do the same for the x-axis like this. I click on Add Chart Element, then Axis Titles, then Primary Horizontal, and then I type here, for example, 2019. Then I hit Enter. Again, this is up to you if you like it or not. So you may keep it, or you may simply remove it by quickly pressing Ctrl-Z on your keyboard, and poof, the x-axis title is gone. Just like that. Now, if I hover over my colored bars, I will be able to see the data behind each bar. For example, I'll hover over our first bar, and it shows that this bar belongs to Jack in the month of January with a value of $2,500. If I continue to the right, I hover over the next column, I see that this belongs to Jill, also in January, with a salary of $3,500. Now the next thing I want to change about this Excel chart is the chart title. So I simply click on the chart title and it turns into a text box. I now can type what I want, and I can also format it in any way a text can be formatted. Another way to modify the Excel chart title is to capture the value directly from the Excel sheet itself. So I would click on the Excel chart title, then I would go to my input bar up here, then I will type an equal sign, then click on the cell that has the words that I want to use for my title. And in this case, it's monthly payroll. I hit enter, and now you see the title updated. The nice thing about setting the title in this particular way is that the chart title is now dynamic. So if in the future you change the title in the table, then that value is automatically updated in the chart as well. So if I would change the monthly payroll to monthly payroll 2019 here, then it will update the Excel chart as well. Nice, right? Another update we could make to the Excel chart is removing the grid lines. See these grid lines here? If you don't want them, then you simply click on any one grid line, then you'll see that they're all selected with these blue circles at both ends. Then you just hit delete on your keyboard, and boom, they're gone. And if you don't like how the Excel chart looks now, meaning without the grid lines, you can simply just click on Ctrl-Z on your keyboard, and the grid lines are back in again. Remember, you can do anything using Ctrl-Z, so don't be afraid to experiment with things in Excel. The best way to learn any application is to play with all its features and functions. Alright, now me personally, I like having the grid lines, so I will add them back again, but let me show you a direct way to add these grid lines. Think of it this way. The grid lines are part of the chart, right? So Can you guys guess where in the Excel interface I need to go to add the grid lines to my Excel chart? Give it a guess. Right up here in the Add Chart element. I click on it, go to grid lines, and now I have different options to choose from. And hovering over each option will show you how the grid lines are displayed in the Excel chart. I like the major horizontal grid lines, so I click on that, and my grid lines are back in my Excel chart. Now, let's look at the legend. Right now, it shows up at the bottom, but you can place it anywhere you wish. You simply click on it, and now you can change its size by clicking and dragging any of these controls. And if you just want to move it, you can hover over the outside lines of the legend until the cursor turns to 4 opposing arrows, then click and drag to anywhere in the Excel chart. Another thing you can do is double-click on the legend, and then this side panel appears. You could have also just right-clicked on the legend and chosen Format Legend. From here, you can modify the location of the legend by choosing one of the preset locations. Say I want to have the legend at the top of the Excel chart. So I click on Top, and it shows up at the top. Other options for the legend is the Effects option here. This option allows me to change the look and feel of my legend. Here I can give the legend a shadow, or some glow effects, or even soft edges. So let me change the color of the legend like this. I can also use a preset pattern. Or I can also add a border color like this. So the point is that we have full control to design the chart legend as we please. Another thing you can customize in the Excel chart is the gap between the individual bars and the bar groups. See this distance here between each month? Well, I can control that. And see also the small distance between each employee? Well, I can control that too. I simply right-click on any of the bars, and then I click on Format Data Series. This will give me two sets of controls, one for the series overlap and one for the gap width. The series overlap will control the space between the individual employee bars, while the gap width will control the distance between the months. For example, if I move the series overlap control to the left, it will add space as you see here. If I move it to the right, close to the 0 value, it closes this distance. And if I move it even further past the 0 mark, the bars start to overlap each other. Now the other control on this right side is the gap width, and it ranges from 0 to 500%. So if I change it to 0%, there's no gap between the months. And if I change it to the max gap width, which is 500, you now see that I have a large gap width between each month. So play around with these two settings as you wish to make it look the way you like. Another thing you can do in this Excel chart is to filter data. If you click anywhere in the chart, a few icons will appear on the right side. This icon here is a shortcut to filter data. When we click on it, it gives us the option to filter on any of the employee names or the months. When we hover over each individual item, the Excel chart highlights this item while making the other parts in a lighter shade in the chart here. You also have the option to check or uncheck which items you want included or excluded in the Excel chart. Right now, everything is checked, so everything is included. However, let's say you don't want to show Jack, John, or Mark. I would simply uncheck them, then I press Apply, Or I can just hit enter, and now I don't see these 3 employees in my chart anymore. Now let's say I want to see all the employee salaries, but only for the month of January. I simply uncheck the select all box, which will remove all months. Then I only check January, since that's my requirement for this example, and I hit enter. So now I only see data for the month of January. So again, in Excel charts, you can do pretty much anything you wish to display and format the data. In other words, you are in control. Another thing I wanted to show you is how to add labels to each bar, meaning I want to see the actual values for each individual bar on the bar itself. So I'll click anywhere in the Excel chart, then I'll click on the plus sign on the right to add chart elements. Or I could have chosen Add Chart Element at the top left here and choose Data Label. But I would prefer to use the quicker way by clicking on the plus sign on the right side. Then when I just hover over the data labels, I now see the value for each bar individually. I also have the flexibility to display the values at different places. By clicking on this black triangle, I can choose Center, and now you see the data is displayed in the center of the bar, or Inside End, or Inside Base, or Outside End, or Data Callout, or you can go to more options to have more control on how you want to display this data. Again, full control on how you want your Excel chart to look and what to display. Now, let's sit back and relax on what just happened over the last few minutes. I continued from where I left off in my last video, where we created a well-formatted and professionally looking table, but it was just raw data. And in this video, I added a bar chart and customized it in different ways to end up with a graphical representation of my raw data. So I hope you are building more skills and becoming more comfortable with using Excel. Now, there's more to Microsoft Excel than what I covered in this video, so please click on any of my other videos here to continue learning Excel. And if you found this video helpful, please do subscribe and click on the bell icon. Also, I would love to get your feedback in the comments section so I may know how I can improve on my videos to help you out more. And I'm also up for suggestions on future videos that we'd like to see, and I will gladly make new videos based on your comments. So please don't hesitate to say what's on your mind, and I promise to do my best to help out with more videos that you need. Bye for now.